Hey all, Scott here. 9 steps ago, I wanted to experience hardships and indigestion, but then I discovered this 9-step plan on how to successfully fail in the video game industry, and now I'm finally broke and depressed. So now it's time to spread that bankruptcy to you. Here's how to successfully fail as a video game studio. First off, please take a look at this. Yeah, I my pants too. This is some scary stuff. We want to do this, but fail. So maybe if we eliminate the N's, the T, the E, the D, the O, and throw in some A's, some C's, an L, and an M, well, son of a bitch, we have ourselves a role model.
The video game industry can be tough stuff. These things take so much time, money, and manpower to put together. If one game a developer makes doesn't meet expectations, it could be enough to sink the whole ship. Because of that, many publishers believe new releases have to be strategically crafted and well thought out in order to make the most money possible. In-game purchases and microtransactions, day one DLC, collector's editions, gold editions, they will take any opportunity to milk the most out of people's excitement for a new game. It must be exhausting. Like, think about it, would you really want to be a video game company? I tried being Activision once and it was hard. Nobody liked me, I was too scary, and I laid off over 800 people. It was the worst Halloween ever. But sometimes, even after layoffs and cost cutting, some studios don't make it far past that and get shut down, experiencing the worst fate possible, having the same company status as Acclaim. For some reason, it doesn't feel like Acclaim is gone. Now, that's a name that just screams video games. It's one of the first publishers outside of the main ones these days that I think of when the whole concept of video game company is brought up, and I don't know why. They were never a particularly great company. They published a few NBA Jams, the first 2 Burnout games, Turok, some console versions of Mortal Kombat, and a whole lot of licensed games. They filed for bankruptcy in 2004, and what do you know, we haven't melted yet, so I guess Acclaim's existence isn't vital to our lives, but it's still hard to believe they haven't been around for that long. They're just an unforgettable name in the industry, just like Midway. Their name is tossed around a decent amount for a dead company. That's because Warner Brothers bought up their assets after they went bankrupt in 2009 and still used their name for re-releases of their old arcade titles. With these two companies, their names are some of the bigger ones from gaming history. But looking at them both, it's pretty easy to see where things went wrong. Midway found most of its success in the arcades back in the 80s and 90s, so in my opinion, while mismanagement and poor decisions can be blamed for their bankruptcy, when they were forced to compete in the console market, it seemed like they were having a tough time trying to keep up with the competition. They had Mortal Kombat, but not much else. And Acclaim was just never really that great overall, so when standards of quality with video games went up, their profits went down. In retrospect, the death of a video game studio is pretty understandable and easily explained, but sometimes their demise comes out of nowhere. They just randomly get shut down, and that's always varying degrees of depressing. Even then, I'd say the idea of Atari becoming defunct has lost all meaning. Every time I open up the fridge, there's an article about Atari being bought or going bankrupt. This Atari, yeah, not the same as this one, or this one. The name has gotten traded around for years, so while Atari is still in existence, it has next to nothing to do with the Atari everybody knows from the 70s and 80s. This current Atari used to be Infogrames. Talk about a name I've seen hundreds of times but know nothing about. This looks like they wanted to call themselves Infogames. That name was already taken, so they went, yeah! Infogrames acquired Hasbro, which acquired Atari earlier, which they then renamed themselves to. Jesus. Hasbro Interactive's gone too, man. Who else is gonna make the game of life for PC in 1998? But that's just what happens a lot of the time. Many game developers and publishers are no more, but live on because of mergers or acquisitions. Sometimes meaning the studio still exists, just now with a different name. Remember Namco? Remember Bandai? Why not merge the two together? Now we have Namco Bandai Games, which then got changed to Bandai Namco Games, which then got changed to Bandai Namco Entertainment. Thank God they changed that 3 times. Squaresoft and Enix, both well known for Japanese RPGs, merged to become Square Enix. Konami acquired Hudson Soft and basically just absorbed it into the whole company later down the line, killing off the name. Well, I mean, at least one of Hudson's franchises lived on after the merger. That just shows that sometimes a studio is no more just due to restructuring. Nintendo EAD was the development studio behind mainline Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, all the primary Nintendo games, and they no longer exist. But that's just because Nintendo restructured their development studios by merging Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development and Nintendo Software Planning and Development into one in-house studio. Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development, Nintendo EPD. Now, when a studio is acquired by a bigger company, that must mean that studio is safe from being shut down, right?
What are you, stupid?
It is heartbreaking and frustrating to see a studio get bought out or started up just to make a few games and then get shut down a few years later. And it's something that happens shockingly frequently. Bizarre Creations made Blur and Geometry Wars, shut down by Activision. Lionhead Studios made the Fable series, shut down by Microsoft. Capcom Vancouver made the Dead Rising game, shut down by Capcom. Guerrilla Cambridge made Killzone Mercenary, shut down by Sony. Black Box made Skate and Need for Speed games, shut down by EA. Maxis Emeryville made The Sims and SimCity, shut down by EA. Visceral Games made Dead Space, shut down by EA. You see a pattern here? It's just, why even buy these studios if you have them make a few games and then shut them down and lay off employees? These are giant corporations always looking for new employment. Surely they could have relocated a lot of these employees to other subsidiaries they own. Like, most of the time a studio is shut down when the games they made underperformed and they're no longer profitable, but that's not really a good majority of the employees' fault, so why not relocate them elsewhere in the company? But sure, everything happens for a reason. A lot of studios end up getting merged. The studios that got shut down were because the games they were making weren't selling. The parent company didn't see much worth with keeping them around. I get that. It's incredibly sad to see a company that made legitimately good games close down and to see employees get laid off. That's never fun to see, but these companies are trying to run a business. Most of the time, I doubt the CEOs say, man, I'm just dying to shut that studio down today. The studio shutdowns are mostly done for strategical reasons. These companies are businesses at the end of the day, and sometimes they have to make tough calls that negatively affect a lot of people. It's sad, but it has to happen sometimes. There's that, and then there's Activision laying off 800 employees to cut costs when the CEO makes $30 million a year. What the hell?
So it's pretty easy to fail at succeeding in the video game industry, so let's dive into a few key examples of studios that succeeded at failing.
Disney Interactive Studios was one that just kind of shut down out of nowhere, and it hit me hard. I love Disney Magic Artist Studio on the PC. Of course, they primarily made Disney-related games, and they also dabbled in the pure market, but their last major project was Disney Infinity, developed by Avalanche. This was a part of the whole Toys to Life trend Skylanders started, where you buy toy figures you can scan into the game. But Disney Infinity used figures of pre-established Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars icons, which you'd think would translate to a bigger success. Well, it was a big success, but not big enough for Disney, because by Disney Infinity 3.0, Disney announced they were abruptly canceling the line of games and figures. This obviously wasn't a long time coming, because plans for a fourth game and new figures in general were already being developed. Of course, Disney is a smart corporation. I think they could see that Toys to Life was a dying fad, and it was smart to pull out of it before they had a flop on their hands with Disney Infinity 4.0. It was a dying market. Why try to make more money from it and have a bunch of unsold figures and games on your hand? And after canceling the future of the Disney Infinity franchise, they closed the entirety of Disney Interactive Studios just to really stick it to us. Disney Interactive suffered major losses over the years, and while Disney Infinity was enough of a success to help the division stay afloat, the writing was on the wall that Toys to Life was fading away, and with a future without Disney Infinity, Disney Interactive didn't have a reason to exist in the company's eyes. Why develop their own games when they could just license their brands out to video game publishers like EA? That was a great idea. That's actually the same reasoning behind Disney closing LucasArts down. They bought out Lucasfilm in late 2012 and then closed their video game division in April of 2013, laying off a good chunk of employees. LucasArts made some of the most beloved adventure games out there, with some big names in the pipeline at the time like Star Wars 1313. And to just see that all go away almost immediately after being bought out was disheartening to fans. The reasoning for shutting LucasArts down was simply because Disney found the prospect of licensing out their IPs to other game developers to be more appealing. That was a great idea. Speaking of LucasArts and their adventure games, a company that was seen as the modern equivalent to them also happens to be one of the biggest company shutdowns in recent memory. Telltale Games. Now, these guys have been around for a while. I initially heard of them when it was announced they were making Back to the Future the game in 2010. It was a point-and-click adventure game that basically acted like a fourth Back to the Future movie. They were mostly known for doing stuff like that, taking well-established media franchises and turning them into episodic, story-based adventure games. They worked on a bunch of titles, but really hit the big time in 2012. Telltale's The Walking Dead was a monumental success critically and commercially. It told a great story, popularized the episodic release strategy, rejuvenated the story-based graphic adventure genre, and it came out at the height of The Walking Dead franchise's popularity, which definitely helped things out. Everything was in this game's favor. Telltale really had The Walking Dead to thank for its mainstream success, and also eventual demise. They just picked up too many projects and pumped out too many games in such short periods of time. Yet ever since 2012, their games never really improved since The Walking Dead. They really didn't evolve along with the industry and instead just kept doing what worked back in 2012. Episodic story-based adventure games based on popular media franchises. They would generally have 3 series running at the same time each and every year, which was just a bit much for most to keep up with. The formula was showing fatigue and oversaturation, and in late 2018 it was announced that Telltale would be closing down, right when they were in the middle of releasing the final season of The Walking Dead and had a fair amount of upcoming projects in the works. At least Skybound Games came in to finish up the final season of The Walking Dead, but it's still sad to see Telltale gone. The closure really came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't expecting it at all, but when I actually thought about it for a second, it made too much sense. Like, I remember everybody playing The Walking Dead when that came out, and a few of their other games after that were pretty big, but by 2018, I just didn't hear anybody really talking about Telltale's games. They truly made some great stuff, but when it was obvious that they had to change things to keep up with the industry, it was too late. However, I'd make the argument that one of the most famous downfalls of a company was
Call in, you give me your problems. Donna will help you. Oh, hey Donna, you got me.
If my husband finds out, he'll get mad.
Oh, you just dropped the bomb.
When I think THQ, I think licensed games for the GameCube. Some good, some bad, most completely mediocre, but still a worthwhile presence in the industry. When it came to the original franchises, they had Saints Row, Destroy All Humans, The Blob, Darksiders. Good stuff definitely, just not the biggest names. But they did have licenses for Pixar and Nickelodeon games for a while, so that kinda made up for the lack of notoriety. Like I said, the GameCube era was really when THQ was firing at all cylinders. Licensed kids games were pretty popular back then. During the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii era though, that's when they started to struggle, and that was partially because THQ said, you know what Nintendo's gonna do in 2 years? Yeah, let's fail before they do. The U-Draw tablet, released in 2010, it was a drawing tablet for the Wii. A pretty solid idea overall, but I think THQ really poured too much into this one. They could have gone away with just the tablet and the drawing software bundled in. But no, they made a bunch of games that required this thing. I never really thought the U-Draw tablet was worthy of being an accessory that should be mandatory for certain games. Like, that's something Nintendo does for their own console with stuff like the Wii Balance Board or Motion Plus. You really think THQ was able to do that themselves? U-Draw games were mostly licensed kids titles, and I feel like a lot of parents that just wanted to give their kids some Kung Fu Panda 2 action on the Wii were disappointed when they realized, oh, we need this third-party drawing tablet from some failing company. But really, the U-Draw problem started coming in at full force when THQ decided to release it for the PS3 and Xbox 360, yikes. Put this sign up anywhere, you'll scare somebody. While the U-Draw tablet on the Wii did okay, the other consoles flopped hard. U-Draw wasn't a big enough success in my opinion to warrant spreading it to other consoles that primarily attracted an entirely different audience compared to the Wii. This tablet was one of the biggest contributions to THQ's bankruptcy, but other factors were definitely still at play here. Licensed kids games were starting to become less and less of a thing. Like, just think about how many there were on previous consoles compared to the Xbox 360 onwards. Especially a few years ago on modern platforms. Like, without Acclaim and THQ pumping out movie tie-in games, it made Activision releasing some garbage Ghostbusters game really stick out. If I had to guess why licensed games aren't as prevalent now, it may be due to to development costs being pretty expensive for HD consoles. But we have been seeing more tie-in games recently, and oh my god, I think they found a way to avoid high development costs, and it's to not have development costs. It's genius. But licensed games were THQ's bread and butter, so when those weren't doing well, they tried to buckle down and focus on more mature hardcore titles. It didn't really work out because most of their games were just pretty average. Sure, stuff like Darksiders and Saints Row have their fans, but when they were mainly banking on the game Homefront to save them from shutting down, I think that shows THQ without the tie-in games wasn't really much at all. They filed for bankruptcy in early 2013, auctioning off their assets. Games in development like South Park: The Stick of Truth were bought up by Ubisoft, and franchises like the WWE series were bought by 2K. Currently though, THQ is back in some form. Nordic Games originally bought up the majority of THQ's original franchises, and later in 2016 bought the THQ name and now operate under THQ Nordic just because the name THQ is still pretty iconic, especially compared to the name Nordic Games. Their entire game plan seems to be to acquire every single B-tier game franchise ever conceived. THQ Nordic will probably acquire the state of Nevada soon. When a game company goes under, it blows. Tons of people lose their job, games may be canceled, franchises are in limbo. It's never a good thing when a solid studio goes out of business. At least there's potential that franchises will be bought up by other better companies, employees will get new better jobs incredibly quickly, or the studio will be merged with a bigger one and nothing really changes outside of the studio's name. While everything happens for a reason, a game company shutting down is always one of the sadder things to read in the news.
And there you go. Listen to me talk for 13 minutes with step 1 of our 9-step plan. We only have 8 more to go until this bankruptcy meter goes even further down. I can't go through with this. We need to make money quick. We're selling soup now. It always works. Hey y'all, Scott here. I've rediscovered one of my core talents, owning a Sharpie. Should have patented this when I had the chance. Portable video games, allowing you to play games in inappropriate situations. They make loitering a whole lot less obvious and give you something to do at funerals. Thank God for their existence. What would I do on the bus without them, human? No, they didn't make Wario Land 4 for me to talk to people, I have to play it. Portable gaming seems like it was only a possibility long after gaming in general started to gain traction, but in reality, while video games started to become a consumer product in the late 60s, early 70s, portable electronic game devices started appearing by the mid-70s with stuff like Mattel Auto Race. Every timeline starts with Mattel Auto Race. Ever since, the idea of playing video games on the go has been just as prevalent as playing video games in general. Portability definitely forces graphical capabilities to take a hit, but that doesn't make handheld gaming any less amazing. These devices let me not talk to people. And the company most known for portable gaming is without a doubt Nintendo. Did you think I was gonna say Folgers? The Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo Switch all have been leaders of the dedicated handheld market and have cemented Nintendo as the portable game company for the past 3 decades. Whenever a new company enters the ring, all they say is, that's cute. They strike a balance between affordability and horsepower they deem as good enough. They may not put out the most technologically advanced systems, but they more than make up for it with their library of games and asking price alone. It's weird to think Nintendo's best successes come from their portable business, but whenever they dangle nostalgia in front of our faces, it's mostly for their home console stuff. You don't see them talk about Super Mario Land 2 as much as Super Mario Bros. 2, even when Land 2 was actually more successful. I assume it's because home console games age better than handheld ones. I just find it odd because when you look at their history, Nintendo's bread and butter has always been portable games, evidenced by the fact that their first big success in the video game market was just that. The Game & Watch wasn't Nintendo's first foray into video games, but it was their first major success in video games, and it all started back in 1980. Humanity must have been really bored before that. Game & Watch was a series of handheld games produced by Nintendo, but you already know that. What was my last paragraph about? Prior to the mid-60s, Nintendo was primarily into playing cards it is. Starting out as a playing card company, then moving on to taxis justifiably, Nintendo dipped their toes into various markets until settling on toys due to the ingenious of one of their employees, Gunpei Yokoi. He designed the Ultra Hand, a toy where the fun lies with what you can grab with it. This toy's success led Nintendo to focusing mostly on fun and games from 1966 onward, and with the inception of video games being a thing, they obviously had to take a whack at it. In 1975, they released EVR Race into arcades. Have spit games more iconic than that. Well, EVR Race might not
not have lit the world on fire, but that's okay. Nintendo followed it up with Shooting Trainer. We're 0 for 2 at this point. That's where Skyhawk comes into the picture. I would tell you the impact it left, but I got a letter from everybody. Best way to put it, Nintendo's video game ventures in the 1970s weren't all failures. Some of them did pretty well. For example, the Color TV game systems were released, fundamentally dedicated Pong machines, selling a couple million units combined. Some arcade games did pretty well, but at the end of the day, none of them were really runaway successes, and nothing left much of an impact. But Gunpei Yokoi struck again, as one day he noticed a businessman fiddling around with a calculator on the train out of sheer boredom. Surely more could be done than just spelling words on a display like this. Because of this very moment, Yokoi devised a pocket-sized device that could play a game while also being useful in other ways, like acting as a clock. And with that, he would design the next video game product of Nintendo's. Its name? Well, I know what Nintendo would name bread now. The first Game & Watch unit hit store shelves on April 28th, 1980, titled Ball in Japan, but here in North America it was labeled as Toss Up. In fact, the initial North American release wasn't called Game & Watch at all. This was before Nintendo had much of a presence outside of Japan, so they worked with a distributor who labeled the units as Timeout games. See, I give this name but at least it's upfront about what you're getting. What kid wants to play a Timeout? Ball is a pretty basic game and set the standard for what you could expect out of a typical Game & Watch release. First off, the build quality is phenomenal. This thing feels like a fine piece of jewelry, like an antique pocket watch. There's this feeling of elegance with them, and I'm not really hyperbolizing here. They never felt cheap or just like little games to keep the kids busy. You can tell they designed these with that businessman on the train in mind. These don't look out of place in a grown man's hand comparative to a child's. Game & Watch games were truly made for everybody. A couple watch batteries later and we're in business. We have Game A and Game B to choose from. Game A is all about juggling 2 balls at once. This is lame hell. Game B is much faster with 1 ball thrown in the picture. This is neat hell. It's pretty obvious Game B is way more fun. Now, fun enough to never turn off? That's tricky. These games don't have an on and off switch. They last quite a long time. You could go anywhere from 6 months to a year on just one set of batteries from light to heavy use. This is obviously because of the watch portion of the unit. You don't really turn off clocks, but just because I can see this game in standby mode all the time, I feel like I'm doing something wrong by not turning it off. It's just puzzling. They went, the battery life is great and it has a clock. We don't need an off switch. We can set the time. There it is. I'm done. Surprisingly, there's not much to a video game made out of a calculator screen. Pretty much all Game & Watch games were simple high-score based romps. These were games of endurance, see how long you can go for. I, for one, find it interesting how much they can get out of such simple technology. There's only so much you can do with these LCD screens in terms of making interactive video game experiences, but they truly thought outside the box with these games and made very enjoyable time killers. Now, Nintendo kept releasing new Game & Watch units consistently for the next few years and would regularly release them in new waves and series. The first series was the Silver Series. The games inside were all different, but the shell containing them looked pretty similar across all of them. Some may have had different control layouts, but they were all pretty much the same shtick as the game Ball. The next series to follow was the Gold Series. Guess what the difference was? After the Gold Series was the Widescreen Series. Again, take a shot in the dark. All of the games produced under the first three series had nearly identical builds though. They were all rectangles with rectangles in the rectangles. That wasn't until the next series, the Multi-Screen Series. Alright, first one to answer wins. What does this remind you of? A clam! It's pretty obvious the multi-screen Game & Watch units were the inspiration for what would become the Nintendo DS, not only because of the dual screens, but the clamshell design. On top of that, these units were the first time Nintendo utilized their traditional D-pad to move a character in one of 8 directions. And if we want to extend these plagiarism allegations even further, various DS games utilize the system on its side like a book, and what do we have here? You son of a bitch plagiarist, what if they notice? A revised widescreen lineup was released later, and tabletop Game & Watches were the hot new thing in 1983. These were obviously responses to Coleco's tabletop line of mini arcades, and to me, they sort of missed the point of the original Game & Watch units. They're so bulky and not nearly as classy as the other ones. You whip this out at a funeral, you're gonna be the life of the party. Well, at this point, Nintendo was trying to innovate with the Game & Watch brand, and with each new series, they were trying to one-up the last, evident by the Panorama series. It uses a mirror to project color overlays onto the LCD graphics, so you get more detailed visuals. The Super Color series followed and had just straight-up color visuals. The Micro Versus series were multiplayer Game & Watch units with 2 detachable controllers. The Crystal Screen series had a see-through transparent screen. If the Game & Watch kept going after this, I'm sure we would have seen one that told us we were pretty. Yeah, there were a lot more types of Game & Watch than I initially thought, but the older series would still get new releases even when new series were announced. I mean, the final original Game & Watch release in 1991, Mario the Juggler, was a part of the new widescreen series, which got its start in 1982. Watching these games being played doesn't do them justice because this looks really lame. You really have to get these in your hands to fully appreciate them. I have a couple of them in my collection and they're great. Once Nintendo actually started releasing character-based video games that were hits, they were sure to release Game & Watch units starring those same characters. Of course, we got some Donkey Kong ones. Here I have Donkey Kong 2. What? This is the only game called Donkey Kong 2. Of course, the sequel to the original Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong Jr., and then they moved right on over to Donkey Kong 3. The Game & Watch game decided to cut the bullshit because this is by all accounts heavily inspired by Donkey Kong Jr. in the arcades. This is pretty much just a renamed version of Donkey Kong Jr. But they already made a Donkey Kong Jr. Game & Watch before this. What the hell is this thing? You know I had to own at least one multi-screen unit, and yeah, the resemblance is uncanny. It has this soft lock lid to it that stops the screen from flopping out at random, I guess, which does remind me of the official Game Boy cartridge cases. I never knew there were so many different ways to rip yourself off. And finally, boxing, one of the Micro Versus units. This is cool. It comes in a chunky box and you can play by yourself or another player by extracting the control pads. Come on, this is amazing. Now this was re-released as Punch-Out in North America after the NES title experienced tons of success, but boxing and Punch-Out Game & Watches are the exact same outside of the title being changed. Nintendo released roughly 60 unique Game & Watch games from 1980 to 1991, and while they vary in terms of themes and gameplay, they all have that Game & Watch feel to them. There were a ton of LCD games throughout the years from companies like Mattel and Tiger, and on the surface, there's not much different between a Game & Watch game and any other LCD game, but it's the replayability and weirdly enough, the graphical style of these things that make them stand out. I know some might be asking, what graphical style? There's something oddly charming about the graphics here. They have such a distinct style to them. You barely see any detail on these characters, but their expressions, the way they move, and how they would convey so much in such little graphics. It honestly impresses me how much character Nintendo was able to inject into single-screen games that have more in common with a calculator than anything else. Nintendo created a lot of Game & Watch games with generic names and setups. The themes and style remind me a lot of animation from the 1920s and 30s. Fire, bounce the people from the burning building to safety. Manhole, cover up the holes for people to walk over. Greenhouse, exterminate the bugs before they get to your plants. Many of these games have the same shtick. You have to juggle multiple things at once until you screw up. But they're still kind of addictive. Once you start playing a game Game & Watch game, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna play it for hours on end, but I guarantee you'll keep playing until you lose. Nintendo repurposed many of their IPs that were successful throughout the 80s as Game & Watch units. Donkey Kong, Mario, Zelda, and they got the license to do games based on Disney properties, Snoopy, Popeye. They pretty much did everything they could with this brand back then. Over 43 million combined were sold. It's obvious to say the Game & Watch did pretty well. But of course, when was the last Game & Watch released? That's right, not yesterday, so why did they stop making them? I always hated that thing, it didn't have Snoopy Tennis. While these did well, they obviously had their limitations. There's only so much you can do with this type of screen. Pretty much all the graphics that could possibly be displayed needed to fit on this one screen. You couldn't make different types of games outside of endurance rounds. Nintendo released the Game Boy in 1989. That used different game cartridges and weren't limited to this. They were full video game experiences. The screen could scroll! The Game & Watch didn't serve much of a purpose with the Game Boy taking off. Sure, buying one was cheaper than a Game Boy, but it was obvious the Game Boy was the better investment. Now, other companies, specifically Tiger Electronics, carried on the LCD game legacy throughout the 90s. These were terrible. Nintendo knew what LCD games were capable of, and for sure what they weren't. They never really tried to make Game & Watch games something they weren't. They tailor-made them to be fun even with the limitations of this screen. Tiger just kind of barfed out whatever they could. There wasn't as much love or attention put into these things. Most of their games consisted of defeat this enemy until you get bored. Game & Watch games were made with so much more care and so much more love, and you can tell that with how much Nintendo cares about its legacy. In 1997, Nintendo released Game & Watch Gallery on the Game Boy, starting a series of 4 titles. Each one contained multiple remakes of Game & Watch games, both in their original forms just remade on a Game Boy screen and in modern forms, this time utilizing Mario characters and some new mechanics here and there. These modern versions do a great job contextualizing what the originals were trying to convey. Even if most were fairly understandable, some games you just said, alright. Whatever you say, Nintendo. The Gallery games are great, and I recommend them to anybody who wants to try these things out. I think the modern remakes make it easier to appreciate how they were able to do these exact games with such garbage hardware. Some Game & Watch games were later re-released as mini keychain games in 1998, the Nintendo Mini Classics. Yeah, these are Game & Watch games. Mr. Game & Watch has been a staple of the Super Smash Bros. Series ever since Melee in 2001, and each of his moves reference an old-school Game & Watch title. The game Manhole was released as a card for the Game Boy Advance's e-reader. Just swipe the card to play Manhole. 2 volumes of Game & Watch collection for the Nintendo DS were released through the Club Nintendo loyalty program and included some of the multi-screen games. Not remade like in the Gallery titles, just the original. It's kinda lame, but whatever. Various standard games were made available on the Nintendo DSi shop, and let's not even get into all the references Nintendo crams into their games. So much of Nintendo's core modern DNA is derived from the Game & Watch. The D-pad, dual screens, the kickstand, instant 2-player multiplayer, and weirdly enough, when you sit down and play these old Game & Watch games, you can get a whiff of that Nintendo charm, taking a simple concept and turning it into a fun and charming experience. Of course, with that being said, I don't think anybody nowadays would answer the question of, hey, do you want to play a Nintendo game with yeah, Donkey Kong 2?
Welcome to the jungle. Who is going to break first with today's 3 challenges? 1, we'll test their mental skills. Heads were in the books! Our head was in the books! The other, we'll test the ability in our gaming challenge.
Not today, baby!
And the final, we'll challenge them, handcuff them, blindfold them, and wrap them up.
Hey, that's why you guys asked me to bring my handcuffs in.
Hey y'all, Scott here. E3 2018, you say? Never heard of him. I'm more so interested in demonstrating the potential of hardware. Let's see if this iron passes the durability test. Gonna put that down as a TBA. Tech demos, demonstrations of hardware potential that most of the time have no business being real games. Whenever new hardware is revealed, saying it has 4 gallons of teraflops lodged in it means nothing if we can't see it getting put to good use. Developers have to cobble together something that people can look at and instantly understand just how good games can look, sound, feel, play, all that. These are some of the most interesting parts of a new console generation. These are what could be, rather than what is most of the time. I think it's fair to say the vast majority of tech demos never amount to anything and don't become full-fledged video games. They're just here to visualize a hardware's tech specs. But that's not to say they can't become full games or elements from them can't be used on other games. However, developers just have a hankering to tease and decide to make tech demos that look like games people have been begging for, which can be just absolutely cruel if that game isn't actually in development. Take, for example, a Zelda tech demo for the GameCube showcasing a sword fight between Link and Ganondorf. Who's gonna win? A Zelda game for babies, that's who! We know now that The Wind Waker is a fantastic Zelda game, but back then people were expecting Zelda on the GameCube to look mature, epic, a bit dark, and they got this. People were upset because Nintendo showed them this thing they really wanted and didn't give it to them. At first. Tech demos can be pretty cool, but sometimes they end up just disappointing fans. So I will pose the question, what makes a good tech demo? Well, let's take a look at various tech demos from the past and see if we can figure that out for ourselves. Now we can't just talk tech demos and end it there. Today I am introducing the Tech Demometer, patent pending. Each tech demo we look at will be ranked on a scale of 1 to 3 based on completely inconsistent judgment. Don't overthink the ratings, let's just do it. Oh my god, are they remaking Final Fantasy VII in HD? I think they're remaking Final Fantasy VII in HD! They're remaking Final Fantasy VII in HD! This tech demo was shown off at E3 2005 as a showcase for the PlayStation 3 hardware and is a remake of the opening section of Final Fantasy VII. It's just a short clip and honestly doesn't seem that much better than something from the PlayStation 2 or Xbox at the time. Actually, let me rephrase that. Stuff like character models and overall detail in the world is definitely early PS3 quality, but nothing here screams, oh yeah, this shows the power of the PlayStation 3. It felt like a PS2 era cutscene running in real time. Impressive, but not jaw-dropping. All this did was make fans sit there and ask, so when's the Final Fantasy VII remake coming out? Tech demos don't have to become a game that actually releases commercially, but look at this and tell me, oh yeah, just a tech demo, has no business being a real game. The fact that this wasn't linked to any potential remake kinda makes me ask the question, what was the point in making this if all it did was end up disappointing fans? Sure, it makes sense to take something people are familiar with and enhance it this much to show the leap in graphical capabilities, but the way this looks and the way it's presented heavily implies this can be and should be more than a tech demo. Well, 10 years after the tech demo, a Final Fantasy VII remake was officially announced for the PlayStation 4. And just like the tech demo, nothing has happened since. It just seems like this thing has been crab walking in development hell. This tech demo did its job to excite people, but for all the wrong reasons. I don't think it got people excited for the power of the PlayStation 3, it got people excited over a game that didn't exist. Hey, Mario Kart XXL, I see this was in the era where they were naming tech demos after TV dinners. This wasn't a demo created by Nintendo, instead by Denaris Entertainment Software, somebody's favorite developer. This was an unauthorized prototype showing how the GBA could render 2 background layers at once, plus also utilizing fully rendered 3D characters. I gotta be honest, this looks pretty impressive for the Game Boy Advance. I don't think anybody knows if this was actually pitched to Nintendo at any point, but regardless, never became a game, still cool though and really seems to utilize the GBA hardware well. This is an interesting one. When the PS4 was initially revealed, this demo of an old man's face was shown, but it was at E3 2013 that a full tech demo showcasing the old man was revealed, entitled The Dark Sorcerer, developed by Quantic Dream, who developed this downer of an experience, so it's surprising to see them make this tech demo that is completely self-aware and is more of a comedy. I gotta be honest, this is one of the most fun tech demos ever made. It has fun with itself and doesn't come off as teasing fans or unimpressive. It's interesting on its own, but doesn't need to be a full game. It's both a short film and a tech demo. Give this one the full points it deserves. Back when the Kinect was introduced as Project Natal, an infamous tech demo was shown alongside it, presented by Peter Molyneux himself. Project Milo, a demo that involved artificial intelligence so intelligent it was artificial. Basically, you could talk to a video game character and he'd talk right back effortlessly. Maybe a little too effortlessly.
You've got to put these goggles on.
Goggles?
Put them on like this.
Notice what she did. This wasn't acted. She felt the need to reach down.
That's because it's acted. I always had a feeling this was a bit faked. Like, have you ever used a Kinect on the Xbox 360 before? The thing had a hard time figuring out if I had a body. You're expecting me to think it could have a realistic conversation with me? Also, look how fast the Kinect scans in this piece of paper. Like, no, that can't be. Listen, this was and still is conceptually really cool, and the fact is there that the original concept of Kinect was much more technologically advanced than the retail product. But this is the only instance where we saw Project Milo in action, so it's hard to believe that it was really that immersive and expansive. But I'll give it 2 points for being pretty cool in the grand scheme of things, and being some pretty cool use of the hardware. Back when the Game Boy Advance was coming out, Nintendo created this demo that is a remake of Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64. A Nintendo 64 game running on a Game Boy Advance? Not really. Like I said, it's obviously a remake of the game that runs on the Game Boy Advance. The presentation has been downgraded a fair amount, but I gotta be honest, this is still pretty impressive. It's like how Nintendo remade Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo DS just to prove that the system can do 3D. The problem is that game is tart, while this one never came out and is just as, if not more impressive than 64 DS, just because, hey, it's basically playing a Nintendo 64 game on the hardware that preceded the DS. That's pretty cool. This never became a real-life thing, but unlike the Final Fantasy VII tech demo, this demo wasn't this big extravaganza that was a complete overhaul of how the original game was. This was just proving that the Game Boy Advance was more powerful than many may have assumed, and I think it did its job fairly well. Back when Nintendo was desperately trying to prove the Wii U gamepad's worth, E3 2014 brought with it 2 Wii U tech demos focusing on the 2-screen dynamic. One was Project Guard, a tower defense game where you had to swap between certain camera angles to stop enemies from harming your base. The other was Project Giant Robot, where you're a Project Giant Robot and you're doing specific missions in a city. Guard was turned into the game Star Fox Guard, where it was basically the same but with a Star Fox theme, and Giant Robot was never officially turned into a full game. However, it's speculated that the Nintendo Labo Robot Kit is what became of the project. I thought Guard was kind of a cute use of the gamepad, but Giant Robot always looked like a clunk fest. They worked pretty well as tech demos, but here's the problem. They came out 2 years after the console released. That definitely takes away a lot of the oomph out of a tech demo. Oh, Conker the Squirrel. Definitely at the top of everybody's top 10 alcoholic video game squirrels list is of course the star of the cult classic Nintendo 64 game Conker's Bad Fur Day. After Microsoft purchased the developer Rare, the Conker franchise hasn't been touched all too much. A remake of Bad Fur Day was thrown onto the original Xbox, but other than that, the series has remained relatively dormant. And then, yeah, Young Conker was a tech demo created to demonstrate the tech behind Microsoft HoloLens. Using augmented reality, the thing is actually quite impressive. Other than that, it's a bit of a spit in the face to Conker fans. It's one of the few representations the series has had in the past decade, and it's not at all how fans want to see this character or play something he's in. They could have built this demo around any other character or series, a series that has had more releases or support as of late. But no, make it a cult classic that fans desperately want to see return and make it an augmented reality demo. Neat. And while we're on the topic of rare IP tech demos, what the hell was this? Taking Banjo-Kazooie and making it a motion-controlled experience? I don't know what you would call this. Mario tech demos. Let's take a look at these bad boys. Well, Mario 128 seems to be the most well-known. Made to show the power of the GameCube, the title alludes to this being a sequel to Mario 64, but after further inspection, yeah, no. Cool tech for back in the day, though. Peach's Castle was a demo, again for the GameCube, and was just a large tour of the castle. Neat. Luigi's Mansion was once used for tech demo purposes before initially being revealed as a game. You could play with Mario and Wario's face on the DS when it was initially shown. New Super Mario Bros. Me, God, I thought these tech demos were gonna be way more interesting than they turned out. Holy look at all the ping pong balls! Now I gotta get an original Xbox. What better hardware to try to prove the worth of than the Sega 32X, the 32-bit add-on for the Sega Genesis. Here's some rad 90s graphics that Sega threw out there to show just how powerful the 32X is, and whoa, this is literally just a bunch of primitive 3D junk flying at us. This demo knows how to rivet. Now you may have noticed that most of these never reach a solid 3 in the tech demometer, probably because tech demos are never meant to be perfect. They're interesting parts of history, and when new hardware is unveiled, it's cool to see what it's capable of. But it's all about the games that are, you know, actually real. After all this, what does make a good tech demo? And I think the simple answer is something that showcases a hardware's potential without toying with fans' hearts. Most of the time, tech demos aren't representative of any final product, so they can mainly be seen as harmless. They aren't like a yearbook quote which is stuck with you for life. Of course, when I was in the room with the yearbook committee, they took the last thing that I said as my yearbook quote, and when you're in a room full of weirdos, that's how you get a quote that becomes, "Stop licking my neck!"
As the sun rises on the arena, our cameras have captured never-before-seen footage of a creature so rare, so beautiful, one ponders how it could even exist at all.
Prized for her beef, these beautiful creatures have been hunted almost to extinction. But we managed to film one in its natural habitat for you today. This is not CGI, this is as real as it gets.
Here it comes. And perfection.
It's beautiful.
Now let's see just how far a beefer will go to wrap their hands around one on this episode of... Welcome to the jungle, aka the G4 Arena. I am WWE superstar Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, and with me, as always, is Gina. You can't say that on this show, darling.
Oh, sorry.
Today, we have two guests with beat that can only be settled in front of a live studio audience.
And using only their wits, their agility, and most importantly, their gaming ability, we will soon know who's the king of beefs. Loser has to make the talk of shame, while the winner gets their banner hung on our wall of glorious glory. Oh, and if you're gonna scrap, we need some scrappers, right? Yeah, absolutely. Tonight in the arena, we have Castro and Stone Mountain 64, two big streamers with some mighty beef that goes back to a party foul not long ago. So DJ, drop that beef.
I'm Castro.
I'm Stone Mountain 64.
Doesn't even have plates, so Semtex start forcing him around. What I say. I can just get better, man.
So I'm playing FIFA. It's extra time. I'm 1-0 up. The bus is parked. It should be an easy win. But then, guess who walks in front of the screen?
Sup? I'll be honest, that was a little spaced out at the time.
I tell him, get out of the way, dude. And he says, which way? And then I said, away from the TV.
Okay, I might have lacked a bit of spatial awareness, but Castro completely is blowing this out of proportion.
So they equalized because FIFA is and so FIFA made me lose, and it's all Stone Mountain 64's fault.
Listen, dude, a true professional doesn't blame the pitch. They play the ball as it lies.
I'm calling Stone Mountain 64 out today to teach him proper FIFA etiquette. Never, never get between a man and his screen.
Castro better get more of those excuses ready because he's gonna need them by the time I'm done here.
Mistakes were made and tensions are high, so let's introduce our first beefers in tonight's battle. He's a man who knows how to put his balls in the back of a net. Yeah, it's Castro!
But if Castro wants to make that bony his own, then he's gonna have a mountain to climb. A Stone Mountain 64.
I like the moves. He's got it on him.
I dig it.
But these two won't be in this dogfight alone because they're each teaming up with half of a tag team who will be facing off against each other for the first time in our arena. WWE superstars Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, a.k.a. the Street Profits!
Cheers, guys. Nice to meet you.
Another. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.
Whoa, let's do this. Can I join you guys?
Of course. Yeah. Special juice you made this morning. She got energized.
Yeah, I know.
Special juice this morning.
Special ingredients, you know. Whipping it up.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here to help us settle this beef.
Hey, man, thanks for having us, man. We had to come prove my boy Castro
Yes,
being
sir.
right, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm here with the Stone Mountain 64, you know, because we share something that's similar. We want the smoke, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, hold on. Wait.
We want the smoke.
Yes,
You know, the four words that we live, breathe, and die by, we want the smoke.
Yeah, but
Now-
he was in the right, though.
I don't know.
You
I don't
gotta
know.
be kidding me, dude.
What do you see? What's in the right of what he did?
Talking about my man playing the game and he walk across?
Okay, but maybe it was an important task that he was trying to get to, another level he was trying to get up on, another level up.
How
if he
about
was
you
saying-
wait until, like, you know, common courtesy, be thinking like, hey, excuse me, you know what I'm saying? He just walking past while my man's playing the game, got scored on? Come on, dog, that don't never happen.
It was one step in front of it. It wasn't that big of a deal.
not a
He
big
should have
deal.
been able to still play regardless.
Exactly.
Come on,
It's
man.
not his fault that he needs
Wow.
he needs more
Come on.
expertise to concentrate.
Come on, man.
I thought you were good. I thought you were a pro.
Listen, you look like a kickback Jesus.
Oh!
Don't take that. Don't listen to that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's fine.
A kick Jesus?
Those mustache rides, they look like they give UTIs.
Oh! Bars!
Man, listen,
Bars!
man. Why do you stream on Facebook? So your parents will see you?
Oh! Get mommy and daddy's approval!
We love our parents.
Actually,
We want our parents.
What's it like being the second most liked Castro?
Quiet it down. Let's go through the rules.
Exactly.
Listen, the boys, you've clearly laid your bones on the table. Now it's time to see who is going to break first with today's 3 challenges. One will test their mental skills. The other will test the ability as a gamer. And the final will challenge them, handcuff them, blindfold them, and wrap them up.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good Saturday. I like that.
The mental challenge and the gaming challenges are both worth 1 point, with the physical challenge being worth an earth-shattering 2 points. If at the end of 3 rounds there is no clear winner, we will go to a tiebreaker.
Coming up, next we'll find out if the mountain will crumble or if he's gonna make an ass out of Castro with round 1 of this battle for the bony.
There we go.
I promised it would be big.
Honey pot. Whatever. The booby game.
We're comfortable with our sucking.
Some say I've sucked my entire life.
It would be epic.
Witness me!
It would be violent.
Oh my God, you killed Kirby!
Take it into stop, Gina! Oh! You killed Gina with Gina Robic!
Yeah! All right. So it's time. It's time for Battle Bee. And our producers tell me that it's just like a regular spelling bee, only they've released several bees into the G4 studio, which will be battling like Pokemon.
No, that's not happening now.
What? Why not?
It turns out the bees are union, so we couldn't.
Come on.
Oops. But don't worry, this challenge still has plenty of sting. Battle Bees is our version of a good old-fashioned spelling bee.
But hold on. Before Battle Bee starts, there's something that I really wanted to spell out to all the kids watching the show today.
Ooh, what's that? Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Kids, I want to tell you a story about how winning can be tricky. And that's why the winner of this challenge receives something very, very special. It's called the Xfinity Unbeatables Advantage. Ooh. It's a bonus for the final round that will give our beefers an unbeatable advantage.
Wow, golly gee willikers, mister, that sounds mean.
Oh, little Gina, it is. And that's because our good friends at Xfinity have brought us this unbeatable advantage. With their ultra-fast speeds and powerful connections, unbeatable internet made to do anything. So you can do anything. Because kids, we all need that kind of power. Player, welcome to round one. This is just a straight up spelling bee. Let's be real. We give you a word. If you spell it right, you hear this. Spell it wrong, and this is what you get.
It's really in there, isn't it? Yep.
It's loud.
It's loud. It's
Are you ready? Let's go.
Ready?
We are ready! Up first, Angelo Dawkins. Your word is bachelorette.
Bachelorette, huh?
Yes, you can ask for a definition. You can ask to be used in a sentence.
Bachelorette, what Gina has been for the last 20 years of her life.
That's cold.
Yeah, it hurts.
Need a marker?
Yeah.
You sound it out a little
Come
bit.
on, champ. Come on, champ.
I like the squeak.
nervous there, huh? BACHELORETTE. Easy money.
They are terrifying.
They're ready to go.
I love them.
All right, Castro.
What's up?
Your word is vignette.
How do you spell it?
Sir John, my man. You gotta spell it.
What?
Vignette, as in.
As in, wow, Grandpa's vignettes about classic World of Warcraft are alarming.
Hey, say it again. Say it again.
Vignette. The description is a brief, evocative description, account, or episode.
Oh, man. All right, hold on.
Vignette.
Hey, this one's hard.
It is.
But I'm gonna go with V.
Okay.
E.
Okay.
G N.
Okay.
E.
Okay.
T.
The correct spelling is V-I-G-N-E-T-T-E.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
A lot of extra letters for no reason.
Okay.
Stone Mountain.
Yep.
Your word is Sunday.
Can you give it to me in a sentence?
I can. If I spill my sundae on my keyboard one more time, my mother is going to kill me.
All right. I'll spell it.
Yes, go ahead.
Sunday. S-U-N-D-A-E. Sunday.
That is correct. Sunday. And now, Montez is up. Montez, your word is carburetor.
If you could, please, Mr. Woods, could you use it in a definition, please?
Yes, I could. The definition is a device in an internal combustion engine for mixing air with a fine spray of liquid fuel.
And it's pronounced once again?
Carburetor. As in, I once replaced my carburetor in Mechanic Simulator, so I definitely could do it in real life.
It's true. Ooh, Dawkins is looking real confident over there.
Watch? Does he have a watch on? I don't think that's a watch.
As in the definition in which you pronounced, I believe the word is spelled C-A-R-B-O-R-A-T-O-R.
The correct spelling was C-A-R-B-U-R-E-T-O-R.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yikes. Carburetor. It's a hard one.
I bought the wrong vowel. I apologize.
We'll get it right on the next one. Back to Dawkins. Your word is appendage.
What?
How do they not expect me to make dirty jokes? Seriously, guys, with these words, come on.
Just drop one.
Run that back for me, fam.
Appendage. A projecting part of an invertebrate or other living organism with a distinct appearance or function.
Appendage.
A la, for gamers, the controller is a lot like an appendage. Nice. I think Gina might have a sentence for us.
Wow!
Do you have a...
I don't want to get fired.
You sure?
Yeah.
This isn't live. They can edit it out.
Okay. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's adults and there's children here. I can't do it. You got it. I believe in you. Put your appendage in it.
All right.
I like that.
Go ahead and pass it on to Castro.
All right. Appendage?
Appendage.
Appendage. A-P-P-E-N-D-A-G-E. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Appendage.
My head was in the box!
God, if I was his teacher, I would never give him detention. No.
Never in trouble.
My goodness gracious.
All right. Castro.
What's up?
Your word is...
Is easy.
No, sir.
Let's go!
Let's go.
Your word is Lamborghini.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay, let's go. That's easy money. That's easy work.
Oh, man.
Lamborghini, an Italian brand of luxury cars. As in, Lamborghini is my preferred car choice in Forza.
All right, I'm ready.
Diablo. Oh. Okay, ready?
I don't even look at the paper.
Wow.
Oh!
Off the dome.
Listen, just kidding.
Freestyle.
L-A-M-B-O-R-G-H-I-N-I.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Easy! We're in the books!
All right. To get on the board, Stone Mountain. Your word is hodgepodge.
Give me in a sentence here.
My Steam library is a hodgepodge of shooters, dating sims, and Metroidvanias. Definition is a confused mixture. Thinking. Montez fixing his tie.
I can see the gears turning.
All right.
The man is thinking. All right.
Hodgepodge. H-O-D-G-E-P-O-D-G-E.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah!
You know, if I ever gave birth, I want them there to cheer for me. That baby will come flying
I
out.
thought you were going to sit here and hope your baby is screaming that.
It was an easy word. It was an easy word.
All right, Montez, your word is consciousness.
I know it's something I don't have, so could you please use it in a sentence?
Elden Ring pushed me to my limit and delivered me to an elevated state of consciousness.
I hate this word.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's one of those words I can never get.
Consciousness, the state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Sounding it out over there.
I lost consciousness last Saturday after a night out in K-Town.
There you go. That's the sentence.
Before E, except after C. I before E.
Okay.
Warm up, baby, warm up.
And the word consciousness.
I before E, except after C.
He's about to pull out PEMDAS next.
C-O-N-S-C-E-I-N-O-U-S.
Good try.
Consciousness, the correct spelling, C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S-N-E-S-S.
Head was not in the books.
Head was not in the books.
Castro wins.
Let's go! Let's go! Hey, don't boo us! Don't boo us! Winner, dog! Hey! Winner! Winner! Let's go!
Easy.
And at the end of the first round, it's Castro who is the W-E-I-N-E-R. Whatever, I'll go with it. They've claimed first blood and earned themselves the coveted Xfinity Unbeatable Advantage. Coming up, we're headed to a break, but don't go anywhere because coming up next, it's the Gaming Challenge. Our beefers are going to be teaming up with their WWE superstars to set off those rockets in your pockets. What with Rocket League? Yeah, Rocket League.
Thought we were canceled? We're back for a second season to Name Your Price. Name Your Price!
2 Arena, where Castro and Angelo Dawkins will be facing off against Stone and Montez Ford in some Rocket League madness in our gaming challenge.
Now, for those of you who don't know what Rocket League is, don't worry, it's super simple. You take cars, you strap rockets to them, and then you play soccer, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Our teams will play sudden death matches. First goal wins. The team with the highest score at the end of 3 rounds takes the point for this challenge, and of course, drinks the tears of the loser.
I want some of that. Kind of gross, a little bit salty, but like kind of hot too, right?
All right, beefers, you're up first. Superstars, you're next. And in the 3rd round, you can choose your champion. Competitors. All right. Are you ready?
Yes!
Yes!
Let's do it.
Yes!
Let's do it!
Let's go. Let's go. Audience, are you ready? Then start your rockets!
Oh, let's go. Let's go!
Focus, there you go. It's all right, focus.
Hey, let's see. Who's blue? Who's blue?
Stone's blue.
Stone's blue, okay.
There you go, Stone.
Get him, Stone.
There you go,
Get him, Stone.
Running down the end.
Focus. 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 Focus.
There we go!
Focus. Focus, there we go.
Castro controlling the ball.
And he's away. He's off with it. Stone's
Oh!
I got far.
Stone trying to recoup and
Psych!
get rid of that.
There you go.
Steal!
What can Castro bang out? Stone's down.
There you go.
Who wants it more? Okay, they got the boost.
Let's go. Let's go.
Castro out of the boost. Bucket Stone, Zoomer on. Block from Stone.
Block.
Uh-oh.
shit.
Castro.
Fight over it.
Castro.
He's gonna make it. Not today, baby. Focused.
Uh-oh. Oh. Let's see if Castro's...
Not today, Castro. Whoa. Red card, ref.
Are Castro's FIFA skills gonna come into play? Oh, Stone. Oh, it's Stone.
There we go. Come on.
Why isn't he jumping?
Oh, you gotta hit it, huh? Yeah.
This is insane.
Castro is known for his FIFA gameplay. Let's see if it translates here.
Is he gonna be able to?
There you go.
I thought that was gonna be it, honestly. Okay. Stone taking his time.
Sweating.
Oh! Castro right in the wall. Stone with a good angle. Oh, goes for the flip, misses. Castro gonna be able to bring it back.
Knock it out for me, Castro. Let's put it in.
Oh! There we go. Get there.
There you go. Going back.
Ken Stone.
Going.
He saw Castro coming forward and he gets a different angle and Stone.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm in the goal.
That's nice.
That was
He's in
beautiful.
the
I'm
game.
so sweaty.
Team Stone with the point. And now that means that Angelo Dawkins will go up against Montez Ford.
Go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's see how they do.
Let's go.
Good job, Stone.
Here we go.
All right. Dawkins first.
Dawkins
We got Dawkins in yellow.
I like it. That's going in. That's going in.
All right. Well, now it's 1-1, and each team gets to choose their champion that will represent them in this next match.
Let's go.
Montez, what happened?
Well, I mean, he lived up to his reputation. He's a quick shooter, you know, so here we go. Accurate, too. It's okay, though.
He's proud of it. He's proud of it.
It's okay, though.
As long as he's proud of it, that's
Thumbs
okay.
in, dog.
All right.
Beefers, dog.
Who will be representing each team?
We gonna settle it with the
We're gonna settle it
beefers.
with the beefers.
We gonna settle it with the beefers.
Beefers.
Okay.
Let's go.
With the beefers.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey,
let's see it.
Visualize. Visualize, dog.
All right, ready?
To win the gaming challenge. Ooh. Okay.
That's a nice arena. I like
We
that.
got a match. That's real nice. Ooh, I like the neon.
Okay, all right. Stone controlling the ball. And
Castro.
Catch him!
There you go! There you go, Stone! Stone this!
Saving ability is insane.
Let's see it, Stone. Let's see it. Oh!
There we go. There we go.
There we go. Nice. Focus. There we go. Focus.
Stone is like Superman saving people falling off buildings.
Yes.
Coming out of nowhere.
Kenny! Oh, so close.
But can he bring it back? Ooh. Castro going for the shot.
Bring it back.
Castro in position. Can Castro
Pop
get
it
back?
up in the top. Somebody has to win. People won the comeback strong. They'll win right the play. That's right, man. That's right, man. Hand was in the game. His hand was in the game.
Congratulations to our winners of the gaming challenge, Team Stone.
Come on! You let him taste it, you snatch it away. Look, I like your tactics.
And despite that amazing shot from Dawkins, at the end of the gaming challenge, it looks like Team Stone has rocketed their way back into the arena, tying things up at 1-1. It's time for another commercial break. We know, we're sorry, but when you come back, it's a final round where we will find out who will be crowned arena champion and raise a bonus.
Hello. The pressure's been kicked up a notch.
Oh, real man,
I'm sorry.
God damn it, this is insane! Amanda, call 911!
I'm on it! Make that booty pop!
Oh my God!
Now that's how you do it!
Okay, my friends, it's time for our final challenge. And if our beefers want to get their grubby little mitts on that sweet, sweet pony, they're gonna have to take a tricky path in a game we call Here to There.
Austin, I
I missed the meeting because I didn't come because of who I am as a person. Would you mind breaking this down for me really quick?
Yeah, actually, you know, we had to break it down. Yes, Gina, it's very simple. All our beefers need to do is get from here to the bony.
Oh yeah, that sounds easy. Like a toddler can do it. I can do it.
They could, except for our beefing babies will be blindfolded, handcuffed, and wrapped in cling wrap by the opposing WWE superstar. And then using only their superstar's voices to guide them, they'll have to move to one station to another to get their cling wrap ripped off. Then at station 2, they will have to find the keys to their cuffs in our beefy bowl. And once they're free of their cuffs, they can remove their blindfolds and then make a final dash to the finish line and to glory.
Hey, that's why you guys asked me to bring my handcuffs in.
No, we wanted real handcuffs. You brought the fuzzy ones.
Yeah, those are way better.
Personals.
Pretty, right?
Yeah.
See, he likes them. Anyway, so before this challenge starts, we need to find out what power the unbeatable advantage will hold for them. Made possible by Xfinity. Depending on the will of our bonus board, Castro will get a boost that's either fast or super fast.
Fast means they'll get a little starter tear on their cling wrap. Super fast means that there will be a decoy set of keys in Stone Mountain's beefy bowl, and he will have to find the right ones.
Ooh, okay. Let's go over to the bonus board to find out which one it's gonna be. Oh, hey guys. Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Terrifying. Okay. You guys ready? Oh my God, that face is very unsettling.
Yeah, you okay, Doc?
But kind of sexy, right?
Yeah,
Kind of sexy still.
just, you know what I'm saying? Got this, gotta drop this in, you know what I'm saying? See what kind of advantage
you got it,
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Castro, you let him know where you want to drop the chip, because he's on one.
All right, we're gonna go a little left.
Left. My left or your left?
My left. Left. Keep going. Right there.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
Drop it.
Is that the one?
Drop
All right, here we go.
it, baby. Let's go. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
Oh, super fast!
We're almost ready to bring this baby home, but before we do, let's remind our beefers what they're playing for. Pride, glory, and that sweet, sweet bony. Oh.
Yes.
So juicy.
She is truly glorious, just a vision to behold. Now, there's nothing left to do but to get these beefers wrapped, cuffed, and blindfolded, so we can send them on the road from here to there.
I had that trip in Cabo that ended up exactly like this. It was actually pretty fun.
Gina, are you okay?
I think the kidney's kind of missing.
No, we got it. Listen, okay, you gotta save it for your journal. Because we're about to get this party started. Street Profits, on the count of 3, give these beefers a spin and send them on the way to victory. But first, blindfolds down.
Oh, yeah.
Say hello to darkness.
Darkness ain't your ally.
You gotta test it out.
And then, because Castro won the super fast challenge, remember, there's a fake set of keys in Stone Mountain's Orbeez, and he gets a little bit of a head start with the saran wrap. Here we are.
Oh, in the back, that's mean.
One little cut.
There you go.
What? That's what it is. Now, 3, 2, 1. Spin. All right, that's a honest man. Place him somewhere, Place him somewhere.
Okay.
And now, Profits, to your spots.
I feel like we can give just a few more spins, just for fun.
And ready? Begin!
No! Let's go. Rip it all off.
Get my hands in.
Coming off like a
Stronger.
Under. Get my hands in, dude.
There we go.
Hands in. Take me.
Right there.
Turn it over this way. I got the keys. On this side. I got one key out. Both keys out here. Get me out.
Come on. Got it. No.
Open up. Is that the right key? No, it would be a different key. Try the other key. Try the other key.
Is the house key?
Right here. Come on.
There we go.
Nice and easy. We couldn't have done it.
Wow.
Come on, man. Look at these. Look at these. How we gonna unlock this?
Hold on, we're gonna check. We're gonna check. We got house key. We got house key.
Was there multiple? Was there more? Yeah. There's no real key. I mean, this is impossible.
Wait. Today, we crown a new arena champion, and that champion is Castro!
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Castro! Yes, sir. Castro, how does it feel to know that you stepped into the arena today as a boy and left the arena a man?
It feels great. I couldn't have done it without my partner, Angelo. My boy.
That's right.
Big dubs, baby.
That's right.
Big dubs.
Now, I know that getting to meet Gina Darling is reward enough, but we've got something even better for you to take home today. We've got this beefy, bony. Tell me how it feels.
It feels heavy. It looks good. It tastes good, too.
Oh, the taste of victory.
Hold it. Hold it.
So not only do you get to take the bony to your homie, but you're also going to have your banner hung up in the studio for the rest of the seasons.
Let's go!
Now, it is my duty to interview the massive loser of today's episode. Stone, you may have lost, but at least the check is in the mail, so it's not all that bad, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about your performance today? You were so close, and you tried to throw us under the bus over there. We had a key in there.
Hey, I didn't realize there was more than 2 keys even in there, but at the end of the day, it was a pretty good performance. I was at least happy with my gaming, so hey, if I can live with that, I'm good.
Now, unfortunately, Stone, it's time for your talk of shame, where your competitor has written some words for you to close out the show. Please stand in front of the camera and read the prompter like that loser that you are.
Spit them bars. Yeah. Spit them bars.
Yeah.
I'd like to start this off by saying that it was wrong for me to come on the show today. I should go back to Duck Dynasty, where I belong. There was no way I was ever going to beat Castro and Angelo Dawkins, even with Montez Ford dragging my lifeless corpse across the finish line. I should have stayed in my trailer to stream on a platform where my elderly aunt keeps posting out of focus pictures of her dog. I'd also like to say that it was my fault that Castro lost at FIFA. I stepped in front of the TV like an idiot at the worst possible time because I have no spatial awareness. Thank you for showing me the error of my ways. I will never commit such a heinous crime ever again.
Beautiful. Great job. Great job.
Hey, it was a good performance.
Good job. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have left in this arena. Thank you to our guests, Castro and Stone Mountain 64, for being such good beefers and such good sports, and the tag team, the Street Profits, for being such beefy partners. Now, we'll be back with another episode next month. So until then, keep your beef hot and your bony sharp, and stay tuned for the next episode, and make sure you always and forever keep it tight.
Hey y'all! Hey y'all! Hey y'all!
Hey y'all, Scott here, quick. What's the first thing you think of when you think mysterious?
I was supposed to get robbed tomorrow!
No manners, no subtlety. All right, I'll go inside just this once to try this thing out. After that, never again.
I hate change. I've had the same feet for years, thank you.
I interrupt your regularly scheduled me with an emergency report by me. Take it, you son of a bitch.
It's a lot of fun working at G4, but sometimes it can be a lot. You know that PlayStation quote, live in your world, play in ours. Well, some of our producers don't know how to differentiate between the two, especially when we started reviewing WWE 2K22.
Hey, Joe. Sorry, man. Not on the list today.
Acknowledge me.
What?
Acknowledge me as your tribal chief.
I don't know what that even means.
Oh, Roger. Don't worry. You're gonna learn.
Are you looking for the cream, little lady?
Jake, this has to stop.
But the cream, Emily. Yeah, the cream rises to the top. Yeah, off balance, on balance, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay, whatever. It's just a black coffee day.
Cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
At first, it was fun. But after a while, it got really, really tiresome. I'm just worried it's gonna keep spreading.
I don't... Stuck again? How did... You know what?
And that was our third printer this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, G4 TV proudly presents to you the greatest video game reviewers in the world. WWE superstar Xavier Woods, aka Alton Creed, and badass Adam Sessler.
How was that, Austin? Pretty good? Not bad, but we may be able to do it a little better.
G4 TV! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world-famous video game reviewers and feel the power!
Okay, yeah, that was much better. You ready to bring the power positivity to this review, Adam?
Actually, yes.
I am, considering the game was surprisingly good.
That's what I like to hear. Roll the title card.
WWE games have a long storied history, going all the way back to days of the SNES. There have been no shortage of classics over the years, from No Mercy, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, and the underrated WWE 13.
2K took over the license with 2K14 being their first foray into the WWE universe. While there have been some solid titles to come out during this period, there is yet to be a truly classic entry in the franchise. Now, I can't not address the elephant in the room, 2K20. This game definitely hit fans of wrestling games in a rough way. The game was riddled with problems that caused fans of the franchise to essentially turn away, and at times the game wasn't even playable, and things like this led to fans having a bad taste in their mouths about it. So, in an effort to regain trust, 2K listened to their audience. They took a year off and completely remade the engine and listened to fans of the games and did their best to create a game that people would be immensely excited to play. There was a lot riding on 2K22. There was a reason they took a year off between games, because this game needed to restore the faith of fans that the franchise was in good hands. Now, while 2K22 isn't a perfect game by any means, and there are actually only two perfect games, Mario Kart Double Dash and Ghost of Tsushima, it is a solid step in the right direction.
To continue with other steps in the right direction, let's talk about My Rise, which is the new name of the career mode. My Rise lets you choose from 4 different prototypes as well as 4 different backgrounds for your wrestler. This not only affects the gameplay and moveset of your wrestler, but how he is talked about by other superstars and the path they can take. It also has to be mentioned and commended that the game now features career modes for both male and female superstars, a glaring omission from games past. But the depth of options for your superstar is deep, bordering on overwhelming. You can get lost spending a lot of time just crafting a look, ring gear, moveset, and entrance for your wrestler.
In these games, one of my favorite things is the creation suite. For me, the Create a Superstar is immaculate, and I would always make my gear in these games back in the day, and I'd send it to my gear guy. He'd make it and it would be perfect. And so I'm so excited about the Creation Suite in 22 because as I've been sitting in it, there's so many different things you can do. You can emboss your designs so that they're stitched on there. You can make the designs glow. It's insane. So if you go to my Twitter, you can check out the King version of myself right here. But again, this is where I spend the majority of my time. And while I do play the game, I like to make stuff.
And just like Austin's career with WWE, yours begins in the WWE Performance Center. The story also has some surprising depth, allowing you to choose whatever path suits you best. Want to really stay in developmental for a while to up your wrestler's stats? You can do that. Want to jump straight to the main roster and take on the superstars of NXT, Raw, and SmackDown? You can do that too. There's also several side missions, allowing you to create different storylines with superstars or rivalries with people you meet in developmental, all in your quest for WWE Gold.
And as far as My Rise goes, I assume that I'll be jumping into that on Up, Up, Down, Down, my YouTube channel. You know, we've got Zero, the Japanese superstar, making his way through all the games, and so you're gonna see him there. But the best thing that I saw about it, initially, I saw the Performance Center and how everything looked, and I immediately got chills because I remember going in there at 8 a.m. and just falling down constantly over and over and over again, a little PTSD. So just know, this is very real. Go to the Performance Center. Can you make it out of NXT? Who knows? Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. Can you do it? This year's Showcase mode places a spotlight on the lucha legend himself, Rey Mysterio. You play through 9 significant matches in Rey's career, with the man himself giving you context about why the matches are so important. The game will switch from in-game action to archival footage of the matches you're playing through, from WCW to WrestleMania. You truly get a sense of the journey Rey's taken in his decades-spanning career.
While this is a really cool way to gain insight about Rey Mysterio's career, in execution, it's a bit odd. You have to hit multiple objectives to successfully finish the match, and these can really break up the flow of the match. Additionally, quite a few of the matches end with Rey explaining how it finished, meaning that you don't get to fully play through some of these iconic moments. Rey Mysterio is easily one of the coolest wrestlers of the Ruthless Aggression era, and while it's great to see his career celebrated like this, I would have liked to feel like a more active participant in these matches.
I'm no stranger to GM mode being General Manager mode. If you're not sure what that is, well, lucky for you, the greatest GM to ever do the damn thing is in this video. GM mode places you in the shoes of a general manager either on SmackDown, Raw, NXT, or NXT UK. As general manager, you're responsible for booking the show, which means that you're responsible for drafting your wrestlers to your brand, determining who wrestles who, building feuds between your talent, managing contracts, basically all the behind-the-scenes work of managing a wrestling show. The things you don't actually see, you get to do. If you're just here to take your friends to Suplex City, this mode might not be for you, and that's okay. But if you're the kind of fan who watches wrestling and can't help but think of dream matches you'd like to see, then GM mode allows you to build the wrestling show of your dreams within reason, obviously. This version of GM mode in 2K22 is fairly simple compared to the previous versions. There's only 2 belts in play, the men's championship and the women's championship. I understand, no tag team titles. They took the year, they're building it up. We're gonna see if there's DLC or see how it is in the next game, but it's a solid base. But I'm a tag team guy and I need those titles. Anyway, there's 2 match types to choose from, which are singles and tag, and there's about 5 stipulations, and that's about it in terms of actually booking the show. GM mode has been absent from WWE games since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, so honestly, I'm just happy to have it back.
When it comes to the in-ring action, WWE 2K22 isn't just an improvement over 2K20, but a massive leap over prior entries. The 2K era has largely been defined by a pivot to more simulation-style wrestling. While this added a certain degree of realism, it took away some of the spectacle and excitement that's inherent to pro wrestling. 2K22 takes a back-to-basics approach, providing an experience that's more akin to the arcade-style classics of the past.
I'm a simple man with a pretty simple metric for reviewing games. I ask, is it fun or is it not fun? And I'm happy to say that WWE 2K22 is very fun. I've been able to sit down and jam out with my friends in whatever mode I want to play, and honestly, that's the most important thing. Can I have fun playing this with friends? Can I have fun playing it by myself? Double thumbs up for both of those. The gameplay has been simplified from prior entries, but they haven't sacrificed fun for accessibility at all. The simplified controls means that anyone can pick up the sticks and have a good time. Hell, Emily almost wrecked Joe, and she's never played a wrestling game in her life. How did it feel, Joe? How did it feel to get wrecked by a noob?
Yeah, Joe. How'd it feel to be beaten by a first-timer at the game?
Not good. Like, at all.
Can you smell what the rose is cooking?
Yes, and I'm allergic. Can we please just get back to talking about the game?
Joe's bitch-assness aside, 2K22 is a fun wrestling game that falls just short of an excellent one. The combat is fun, but there is the occasional wonkiness that can break up the flow of combat. But it is a massive improvement over the massive tracking failures of 2K20, and we don't want to damn it with faint praise. The thing that's both elevating WWE 2K22 and holding it back is that it feels like an experiment. It's good because it feels like 2K is trying new things with the title, but it just leaves you wanting more. That's great if it's a series that's built up years of trust with their audience, but is a bit of a letdown when it's such a big step in the right direction with a series that's been anything but good since its inception.
Overall, I'm here to say WWE 2K22 is a fun game. I've been really enjoying it. I'm in the game, dude! I'm in the game! Let's go!
But the bottom line, as Creed said, is that the game is just plain fun. We wanted to give this game 4 stars because it's leaps and bounds better than the iterations before it, but several small issues add up to us feeling like we can't quite do it. So, with a very big asterisk, we here at XPlay give WWE 2K22 a 3 out of 5.
And still, Internet's World Heavyweight Champion.
First thing I'm gonna get you to do, sort the negative attitude out. You're a strong man, okay? You're strong. Turn the frown upside down.
Rowan, we're gonna die! We're gonna die, Rowan!
Good luck, adventurer!
Bill Scruff here, and today I'm going to show you how to properly defend yourself from an armed assailant in the back seat. Armed assailant slides in. Oh my gosh, he's got you. What do? Turn the tables. And come up from behind with their dick. Bill Scruff, tactical defense.
Hello and welcome to G4's Game Day LCS.
A perfect ace! And it never felt this good to be bad! This is where it gets intense.
I've never seen a team so embarrassed.
The champion's broken!
You're not my boss.
Welcome to Game Day LCS. I'm your host, James Dash Patterson, and today we're bringing you a very special playoffs edition that unfortunately features Captain Flowers.
Sorry, Dash. I know you're halfway through another Flowers joke, but gotta stop you there. We're getting some audio issues on our end, and I have to pause it here.
Oh, no.
Just say audio-ish.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's trolling. They fixed that like 2 days ago. There's no way.
What?
There's no way.
What?
No.
Hello?
No.
What?
No, not again! No!
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Just great.
Another pause.
Guys, this edible is hitting way too fast.
Oh, man.
Man, if this
What
is
is
anything like
this?
the last time, we're going to be here for a while.
Just
We
wake
made
me
it.
up when it's over.
Look, he's already got it. He's getting comfortable. That's
I mean,
10
I'm
years
so
of experience
hungry.
Right there.
Like-
all right, and hunger is something we should think about. I think maybe we should just let's start voting now. Who do we eat first? If it comes
Whoa,
to
not
that?
me.
Kobe's already
pretty weak.
kind of. He does look weak. He
Yes.
looks like in a stabbable
Yeah, go,
position
whatever.
currently. So what's up, Flowers? Did you find an exit?
No, there's nothing over there. But you're talking
What?
about eating people.
Yeah.
Chickens.
Chicken.
Instead.
I'm sorry, Flowers.
What
Do you
about
see
some-
any chicken around here?
No, there's none over there.
Right.
But maybe if we check,
We are in the abyss, okay?
But
and you're
over
bringing up
there-
chicken. The only thing you can think about
You
is
haven't
chicken,
looked over
Flowers. And the
there.
last thing I want to
I wanna
do
look
when
over
we're
there.
stuck in the
keep it
void is
down.
watch you eat chicken. I'm not watching the man eat
fight!
the chicken.
Don't fight!
I'm not gonna do it.
Now you hold on 1 second here.
Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another Game Day LCS.
To another
It's been
Game Day
about G4.
LCS.
Now, it's been a big
there, baby.
weekend, and we've all been in front of the camera for longer than anyone in their right minds should. So we're going to make this intro snappy. I'm Dash, that's Kobe, Raz, Flowers, Frost.
Woo!
Kind of jumped all around there.
Yeah.
Really testing whether or not I know whose
Gotta be
name
coordinated.
belongs to
Yeah.
who. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're jumping into a show that we're hoping is going to have zero audio issues. There's really only one way to figure that out, though, and it's to dive straight
You
in.
guys did great.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I did feel like we dealt with the pauses pretty well on the LCS, and it was fun to kind of go down memory lane with some of the guys on things that have happened in the LCS and in League in the past. Now today, the LCS delivered us yet another banging 5-game series in which Team Liquid faced off against Evil Geniuses to decide not only who would be going to finals in Chicago, but also who would be going to Worlds as a third and final seed. So let's take a look at the bracket to figure out how we got here.
Oh,
Man, at
Gex.
this point, when we're looking at the
hail
bracket,
Gex.
Wait, the Lizard's winning?
Yeah, the lizard's
the
actually
lizard's
a
been
genius.
destroying
Guys,
us.
I literally
Smurfing.
left for a single episode and I come back and that lizard is 5-1.
The lizard is really
The
smart.
lizard's a smurf.
Find that. It predicted TSM and C9's success.
Meanwhile, Raz is in the second best position.
Let's go.
But these were the matchups that we had ahead of us this week. We had Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves, EG falling into the lower bracket to play against TSM, TL versus CLG as well. As you can see there, though, EG bested TSM, TL bested CLG in order to play each other, which is one of the final series of the week.
Yeah, I have a feeling Raz is about to get a little worse.
Oh, no, I don't know about that. What do you mean by that?
Your predictions.
It was pretty poor.
Yeah, you were sitting at 4-2. You were like the only person within striking distance of Gex.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. Look, I don't know. Look, I was cheating. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
How did you cheat?
I was taking a look into Gek's eyes and see where he was looking, where he was peering and basing my predictions off of it.
You're using the lizard as a crystal ball?
Then how did you lose them?
Yeah, and then how did you... what went wrong? This is the key. You're cheating off your friend's test in class, and you still scored worse.
Lizards is that they have their eyes going in different directions.
You purposefully changed one so that you wouldn't get caught.
A lizard's eyes
until you
then erased it later.
Until you admitted it yourself.
His eyes were peering in different directions. I didn't know where to go anymore.
Before we get into today's series, let's once again set the stage for this game and run you through highlights from the rest of the series leading up to it. Starting at the top with Game 1, where it was a tale of two solo lanes as Impact and JoJo stepped up to shut down Team Liquid.
All right, I'm trying to remember everything that happened in this one. There were so many games.
I know, we watched like 20-something games this week, so it usually takes us a moment to get
I do remember this one. This was a very tough one for Team Liquid because they had a front-to-back teamfight composition, but they did have Whipple, who was playing poorly this game, but also was having an AP Gragas game.
It was the Gragas Akali.
Yes.
Like, what the heck kind of a draft was this?
No, I think this was really good from Evil Geniuses because this whole series long, Team Liquid are putting everything into Hansama drafting Jinx. And this is the only AD carry that, that they can pull out for this series. And they drafted Jarvan and Gangplank and Senna. All of this long range, Jinx can't do anything, and assassinate him, and they're burning his cooldowns over and over and over. This was really intelligent from Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, just underlining that Gangplank pick. It was the big thing with Aphelios when he was in the meta and rocking everything. You have a low mobility ADC, a Gangplank ultimate by himself just completely ruins his day. Same thing for Jinx.
My big issue with this is Bjergsen Akali. He must have found some Earth mode cheat code for the game and just stayed in Shroud the whole time because he was invisible. He never did a thing.
Yeah.
Like, Bjergsen's Akali was my solo queue mid laner.
All right, moving on to game number 2, the Team Liquid Boogaloo, where an $8 million super team proved that money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you at least one win in the violence pit.
And again, these AD carry picks were so critical. They're banning so many AD carries, every single pick banned. This time around, though, Team Liquid, they took away one of the biggest tools of all of playoffs, Seraphine. And they have Hansama playing it. And they even have Core JJ gets to roam away from bottom lane for like half this game, and Hansama does even better than if Core JJ would have stayed there. He got a 1v2 solo kill by himself under tower, leveling up.
Level 6,
He out CS'd as well, Danny, in a 1v2 as Seraphine, and then he just destroyed them in the team fight.
And I think that's like one of the biggest differences between Core. Not that Core can't play enchanters, but Team Liquid need him to be on engage champions because Core JJ is everything to the momentum that TL put, and so when he is on something like a Nautilus, it looks so much better for the team, even if people would consider enchanters stronger in the current meta.
And what makes things that easier is Santorin consistently, really early on in these games, just ganking Danny and killing him like really early on and setting him behind. That's been happening throughout, and so that was one point of it. And still, Evil Geniuses, we're still competing in team fights regardless.
Yeah, here we jump ahead to game number 3, now all tied up at 1-1. So again, Evil Genius is looking for an opportunity to respond, but Bjergsen's Talia, I think, really started to turn on. We saw inklings of it in game 2, but game 3 is where I feel like he hit his stride. Multi-man seismic shoves that really kind of put the stop to any carry opportunities for JoJo on that Victor.
Yeah, for sure. Game number 3 was the Bjergsen game. The Talia seismic shoves made the differences in these team fights and got Team Liquid 2 wins in a row back in the series, and we're like, oh, okay, it's just the normal thing where they drop the first game of the series, they're going to pick it right back up. It's Team Liquid going to take care of business, but that was not the case.
So the important thing, the other thing that stands out to me from the other side for game 3 is that this was the appearance of the misfortune, right? This is where we got to see them start to break this out for Danny, who was struggling in this series. Unfortunately, game number 3 is where they played it with the Kraken Slayer build that, I mean, let's just be honest, it kind of sucked. Yeah. So they have to make the build better for the rest of the series, but it does end up working.
And there were kind of 2 main points in that 4th game that pushed us all the way to game 5 was for every unique pick or interesting pick that maybe Bjergsen has to pull out, Vulcan said, hey, I can do you one better, and brings out the Bard, comes up big. But also that GP that you mentioned all the way back in game number 1 for Impact. We saw the quadra kill near there at the end, but Impact on the GP really, really came into his own and helped extend it all the way to 5.
Yeah, game number 4 to push us to game number 5 was 100% Vulcan Bard.
Yeah.
Vulcan Bard was magnificent, getting so many picks. We talked about the Jinx. He kept ulting the Jinx, getting flash out, then would repeat engage on this champion. He was actually insane. He made so many plays for them.
And one of the brilliant things about when you have such talented and stacked rosters of TL and EG is that you're always going to have at least one pop-off game from a player. You know, if it's a Bjergsen Talia pop-off, if it's a Vulcan Bard pop-off, if it's an Impact GP pop-off, that's kind of like one of the joys of getting this far into playoffs is you're like, okay, these are the rosters that we're excited, and this is why.
The 3-man Bard ulti that he had bot lane and the counter gank that they had was insane. And then the Bard ulti top lane.
The top lane one.
Yeah, on Talia. As she was in movement through ulti was just mind-blowing. He had a 1v9.
He followed that up, too, with the Q through the flashing Talia as well, which was just brilliant. Now, all that brings us quite nicely to game number 5, which we're going to kick off right now by taking a look at Champion Select. I believe Raz and Kobe are Champion Select.
Game 5, baby.
So get on over there.
The pressure is on.
Last week's entrance was better.
No, excuse me, sir. That was a Game 5 entrance right there.
Exactly.
You're not hyped for that.
I'm sorry.
And also, who asked? Okay.
Exactly. Let's get into draft, Raz. Let's take care of some business over here because game number 5, everything is on the line. As we've been saying, there's been so much turmoil with the picks and bans, especially around bottom lane. And Captain Flowers was talking about your misfortune that's been working for Danny. The ultimates themselves in these team fights have really created a lot of space.
Yes.
Team Liquid actually liked the beginning of their draft. They got the Jinx Lulu, which has every single game gotten them lane priority from bottom lane, rather than to play around that bottom lane and start stacking dragons. But where I started to lose faith was later in the draft. Wait. There we go. How long did they pick this Galio? For Bjergsen, they actually pick it after we already see Sylas.
Yes.
Galio is a bad matchup into Sylas itself, and Sylas is one of JoJo's very best champions.
Boom.
I started to get really scared.
I agree with you completely. I think the Sylas pick was something that I really enjoyed from JoJo in the past. People have always complimented JoJo for a few things. His select champion pool, like specifically skirmishers like Sylas.
Those are like number 1, number 2.
Exactly, and how good he is as a laner, especially when he has a lead. He just goes for it. So like that pick I loved, and we just came off of an amazing game with Vulcan's Bard, and now we have him on another engager. So I thought all of these picks were great here for Evil Geniuses.
We said it at Champ Select live when we were casting this. Me and Azael. Azael liked Evil Geniuses' side. Or Azael liked Team Liquid's draft, and I liked Evil Geniuses' side. So I don't know why I have to be Team Liquid this time, but hello, questions.
Okay.
Questions for the Peanuts.
If I am a TL fan, what does it look like? If I'm a TL fan, what does it look like if TL win this game?
They're able to protect this Jinx. They keep Hansama protected. Defensive Galio ultimate, Lulu peeling. If they can keep this Rakan, Sylas, Renekton engage off of the Jinx, then they can actually win.
Especially since they have quadruple melee on Evil Genius' side, so a Galio ulti would be beneficial. Like, it would be really helpful.
I also brought up in the cast, too, if the Aatrox could get them side lane pressure and get them somebody to push with. But we've got another question. Yes, Mr. Flowers.
Right on what you're talking about. Let's talk top laners, because the Aatrox was popular all series, and this was a red side 5th pick Renekton, which is a community meme. How is top lane playing into this one specifically?
Renekton is a good matchup into Aatrox. You can play it aggressively. You can get that pressure rolling really early on.
Yes.
And
you're a great frontliner,
and
too.
Impact is actually a legacy Renekton player.
Yes.
Or blue side, round 5 pick Renekton. I see R5. I get confused with words. It's my bad. But
The names are real.
Words, colors, whatever. Frost!
It's fine.
I am an EG fan.
Oh.
What does it look like if EG are winning?
Oh, what is it like if EG's winning?
Yeah.
It's just about the engage with the Rakan ulti, the MF ulti, and for me, it's literally just based on what Sylas ulti has. So it's going to be very, depending on the situations. If he has Galio ulti, then perfect. You're going to have the same win conditions around protecting MF or diving with Poppy and Renekton.
Exactly. And that's why the key pick has been Vulcan for the last 2 games. In his Bard game, he won the whole game for them, basically. Yeah. This Rakan is supposed to deliver a stolen Galio ultimate onto the Jinx's head.
There you go.
All right, so now we know what it'll look like if either team comes away with the victory. The reality is only one can do just that. We're going to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll dive into that 5th and final game of the series between Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid. Catch you here.